Hi folks, Glyn Dewis here, back with another video for you, but this one is considerably different to the ones I normally post out. This isn't a tutorial or a technique or anything like that. It's literally been born out of having had so many questions from people asking, what kit am I using? Now, I'm going to very quickly mention about the computer because that's one thing people have asked about a lot. Those of you who followed me for a while will know that fairly recently, and we're talking maybe March 2017, I'm now recording this right at the end of May 2017, but back in March I made the move after roughly 10 years to go from Mac to Windows. Okay, so people have asked me, number one, why did I do it? And number two, what is the spec of the machine that I'm now using? What is my desktop machine? Well, to be honest with you, I'm not going to go into the reasons as to why I did it, but what I will say is that I'm only prepared to use the equipment that is fit for purpose. If something isn't performing and allow me to do my work consistently well and easier, then I'll move on to something else, and that's the situation with Apple. So I'm not going to go any further than that, but a personal choice for me, I made the move to Windows because it kind of suited my workflow and my needs. Those of you who need to know, those of you who wanted to know about the spec and the brand I'm using, I've moved over to Dell. That's my choice. After lots of soul searching and questions and asking all this kind of stuff, I've dived over to using Dell for my Windows machine. And rather than me telling you what the spec is now, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the description parts, click on the show more information underneath the video, and you'll see a list there so I can give you an overview of what the actual spec of the computer is. If you're watching this video, which is embedded into my blog over on my website, just check out what I've written there as well. I'll also list it there. But the main point behind me doing this particular video is to talk about monitors, because I've also had people asking about when it comes to kit, what monitor am I using? Let me just say that I've used lots of different brands of monitors. I've spent a lot of money over the years on different brands. I won't name them, but I've now moved over to a company, when I say now, roughly about a year or so ago, 18 months, over to a brand called BenQ. Brands before, they weren't cheap. They were, very, very good, but I did get let down by them. They did fail on me. And when I consider how much I was spending on them at the time, that was seriously disappointing. So all kinds of reasons why, but I've now moved over to this company called BenQ. I'm loving their monitors, and you can see two of them behind me now. The top one, in fact, let me tell you why I've got two. I've recently started doing these YouTube live broadcasts, and I needed to have two monitors. One for the monitor that I'm working on, and the second monitor was to actually monitor the actual software I'm using to do the live broadcasts. I actually think I might need to get a third one fairly soon because of other reasons. But the top monitor that you can just about see over my shoulder, that's a BenQ monitor. That's the SW2700. Again, the descriptions, all this kind of stuff, if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll put those in the description part. But that's a 27-inch monitor, and I absolutely loved that monitor. Really, really loved it. But then as I wanted to upgrade and get a bigger one, BenQ introduced this new one you can see just here, this big daddy one just here. This is a 32-inch monitor. It's the SW320. Now this monitor is a UHD 4K ultra high definition monitor, and I've got to tell you, I am seriously happy with it. It is really, really pin sharp, and the colours are absolutely bang on. The actual pixel dimensions of the screen, it comes out at around 3,840 by 2,160, I believe, something like that. It's a 99% Adobe RGB and 100% sRGB. For those of you who are really into colour spaces, that's what you're going to be getting with that one. But what I'm really loving about this is, I've got to say, and this is roughly in about the last 10 years now, this is the first time ever that when I've calibrated my screen and I've actually sent pictures off to be printed, when they've come back, I've had to make no adjustment. Ordinarily, what I used to have to do was I'd calibrate my screen, as we all do, obviously. I'd send my prints away. I'd only send small ones away so that when they came back, I could see what changes I need to make. And when I say changes, I mean, I used to find that pictures would sometimes come in a little bit dark. So I'd know that I'd maybe need to brighten them up a little bit, then send off for the bigger prints, having known what adjustments I need to make. But now that I calibrate this one, the SW320, it's the first time ever that I've not had to do that. And I use a company called Loxley Colour, who are based up in Glasgow in Scotland, for my prints. And they're coming back absolutely brilliant. So I can have a print next to my monitor and they're pretty much the same. So that's as a photographer and a retoucher, that is an absolute blessing. I'm really, really happy with that. But talking about the calibration, I use an i1 Display Pro. You'll notice on the monitors here, there's a hood. I'll talk about that in a minute. But at the top of the actual monitor hood, there's a little hatch. And it's great there because you can just fit that little i1 Display Pro through the hatch, and it fits against the monitor there. So you can just leave it in place to do your calibrating and just come straight out again without having to take off the monitor hood. But the monitor hood, I don't care what brand of monitor you get, make sure you've got a monitor hood. Now these ones come with it, the SW2700 and the 320. I think pretty much most of the BenQ monitors come with a monitor hood, and they are an absolute godsend when it comes to working. The room I'm in at the moment is quite bright, and I've only done that because we're recording this video. But sometimes you can find that depending on where you're working, you might be getting a little bit of light in that room, and that light's going to hit your monitor, and that really is going to affect how you retouch your pictures. Because if you've got light hitting that screen, I mean this is daylight balanced light in here, if you've got light hitting that screen, this light would make me think that the pictures were maybe brighter than they really were. If I had a normal sort of room house bulb going on there, that's going to give maybe a little bit of a yellow cast onto my pictures, and it's going to really make me see the picture differently. So having a monitor hood is going to shield your screen from that, so that you're going to, it's almost like getting yourself inside the monitor so that you have nothing contaminating the look. So what you see is what you get, so long as it's calibrated. So that's a really, really handy thing to have, the actual hood, monitor hood, and the little hatch there for dropping through the calibrator. There's also a little thing that you get with BenQ monitors. It's called a Hotkey puck. And this is a small little disc, little cable that goes into the back of your computer there. And it allows you quick access to lots of functions that the monitor does. Now, I don't personally use the Hotkey puck, but you might be the kind of person that likes that because you like to have all these things available, you know, right at your fingertips. I just lean over and press the keys underneath, or the buttons rather, underneath the monitor. But the buttons under the monitor and the Hotkey puck allow you to do lots of different things, like very quickly changing the color space that you're viewing your pictures in. You can even do side-by-side comparisons of different color space with the 320. You can click to see an instant black and white. What will my picture look like in black and white? And yeah, I know you can do that with, you know, Photoshop and Lightroom, but just to be able to sit there and just quickly press a button to see your picture in black and white, and then press it again to turn it off. It's a really handy, I found it really, really handy to see, will that look good in black and white or not? So that might be something you use, it might not, but I think it's a great addition. There's so much about this monitor here, which I could go on about, like the HDR capability, where, you know, you can see so much incredible detail. But, you know, I'm going to put a detail about the links where you can check out more of this monitor on the in the description part on YouTube and also on the blog. But what else I want to tell you? Oh, another little handy thing. On the back of the monitors, certainly on the 2700 and the 320, you've got a little slot there for putting your SD cards in as well. So if you're a Mac user and you've got a MacBook Pro and you want to kind of, you know, sort of have your laptop connected to a screen, and you've got to use a dongle maybe for putting in your little SD card, don't worry about it. With the actual BenQ monitors, you can put your card inside of there. That's really, really handy. For me now, because I'm using this tower system, this Windows tower system, my Dell system has got a slot there for the SD card, so I can put one in there. I can also put one in the monitor and also one in the top monitor as well. So if I've had a shoot where there's quite a lot of pictures, I can just shove all these cards in, or maybe a lot of video footage, drag it all off really, really quickly. But there's so much I could go on about. But like I said, I don't normally do these kind of videos where I'm talking about kit and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But what, you know, I've been asked lots of questions about it, so I thought I'd kind of just put this together quickly so that you can see what I'm using. But when it comes to money, how much these things cost, check out the link on the script that I'll put in the video, and also on the blog. Check out the link there, because that'll then tell you how much these monitors are going to cost you, rather than me telling you now, because prices are going to fluctuate. But they're available on places like Amazon and all this kind of stuff. But BenQ, I only use what is fit for purpose. If it works, if it does a great job, if it never lets me down, it makes my life easy, and it doesn't cost an absolute fortune, because these are a fraction of the price of what you're going to pay for some big brands, if you like, then I'm really, really happy. So there you go. I'm using Windows, I'm on a Dell, and I'm now using BenQ monitors. That is all we need to talk about when it comes to kit. But I hope it helps those of you who did ask questions. Joking aside, I hope that's answered your questions for you. But that's all for now. I'll catch you next time.